In this video, we are talking about the 5 financial goals to achieve in your 30s. A lot of the advice I cover in this video is going to be big picture concepts and not overnight success type of advice. I'll have tactics tied into it, but it'll be around stuff that I think will have the most impact. Also, I'm in my 30s, but the concepts I cover in this video apply to any age group, so no worries there. If that sounds interesting to you, tune in and hopefully you'll learn a couple of things from this video that can help you reach your financial goals if you stick with them. My first advice might surprise you because it's somewhat unconventional, since everything seems to be about 10xing here, overnight success there. Instead, I want to bring it back down to earth a little bit and tell you, regardless of what your age is and where you are in life, that any progress begins with embracing where you are currently today. Sure, we all want to level up and get to that next stage, but it's essential to control what you can control, and that starts with understanding where you are today and why. And that also means understanding and accepting your limitations. Raising your self-awareness and practicing humility will help you no matter where you are in life or who you are, because accepting your flaws and past mistakes allows you to get past them. It allows you to detach yourself from your ego instead of trying to justify it in every which way, and which honestly opens up the door for growth and takes a lot of weight off your shoulders because you're addressing the elephant in the room and not ignoring it. I'm not suggesting to be complacent with where you are today and not to strive for more, but rather somewhere in between where you can celebrate all that you have accomplished so far, but not go down the path of self-pity and being overly critical of yourself, which honestly is easy to do. The reason why balance is important is that you want to strive for more, but at the same time not get hung up in your past, which if it goes unchecked, can become a source of negativity or paralysis that impact you from taking action because you're not quote unquote where you want to be, and we want to avoid that by being aware of it. Finding a suitable medium can help build confidence and momentum because you'll have a stronger identification of not only where you came from, but also where you want to be. Bringing it full circle, changing your financial situation is a big deal because that requires change, and change is hard, whether it be changes to mindset, attitude, or openness to ideas. Basically, if you're not committed to leveling up, starting with the mindset, then you don't give yourself the best chance, and the goal in this video is to hopefully change that. My second tip is about developing the skills of socializing financial concepts and seeking advice. It's really important to be comfortable talking about money and financial concepts. I don't know why it's taboo, but it shouldn't be because there's such a gap in knowledge regarding personal finance. The more we talk about it and have conversations, the more opportunities we give ourselves to learn. The only caveat is to make sure the person you're talking to can add value or that can teach you something. It could be anyone, friends, family, and even strangers. The best people to learn from are people who are successful though, and who have been there and done that and can speak from their experience. On top of that, of course, family. On the topic of family, if you're anything like me, you might come from a family that isn't the most financially successful or savvy. Every family is different, but in that situation, I try to actually avoid the topic of money with them because more often than not, it leads to disagreement of ideas rather than a collaboration of strategies, which is kind of what I'm looking for. And it's important to have the conviction for breaking the cycle of low income, but it has to start somewhere, and it starts with you. No one is going to save you or do the work for you, so be prepared for the ups and downs that you'll face in your journey. But once you start reaching your goals, don't forget where you came from. Even if people doubted, it's important to forgive and forget and try to help them later on, even if you don't want to. You're doing it for them, but you're also doing it for yourself to sidestep harboring of any resentment and to always maintain of the fact that your happiness is more important than any form of wealth, and I really believe that. Switching gears though, let's talk about how to socialize financial concepts with those around you. I'm happy to share how I do it. My approach is straightforward. I like to ask people what their story to financial success was, then I just go from there, actively listening and then following up with relevant questions and keep it engaging so it's fun for them too. It actually reminds me of a time that I went to a happy hour and met with the real estate private equity managing director, and he gave me excellent advice. He said, real estate doesn't have to be complicated. The secret sauce is in the location, finding a property that's close to transportation, schools, and basically anything that'll keep that area relevant in the long term. That's what makes a good property investment. To me, that was really good advice. So now whenever I'm buying real estate, I can apply what I learned from someone way more experienced than me and benefit from it. Now that we talked about the mindset for change and socializing it, let's talk a little bit about how we can make more money. Look, there's a ton of advice out there talking about you need to have a bunch of side hustles or own a trendy business. And although it's a good idea to have multiple sources of income, but I think for the vast majority of people looking to increase their level of cash flow, the best chance that you actually give yourself is to intensify your focus on one thing, and for most people, that one focus is on a long-term career path. So my third advice is to find a long-term career path. Alright, so hear me out. When you start in any career, you'll always be underpaid and most likely underappreciated. but you'll be learning and doing the most undesirable work since you are in the beginning of your career, and it makes sense because you're new. But if you can stick it out through the beginning and keep adding skills to your bag as you grow in your career path, you eventually become more valuable to the business, and the skills you learn compound over time, which opens up opportunities and you gain seniority, and that's how you increase income, which helps you reach your financial goals and broaden your opportunities to save. Obviously, it's easier said than done, but if you haven't found your career path yet, it's not the end of the world, and these things do take time. I can totally relate because when it came to choosing my career path, I failed a lot. And eventually I found my way. After I graduated college, I got a job in finance, investment banking. It was good money, but I realized it wasn't the best fit for me, so I tried internal auditing out, hoping it would resonate more, and that was not a good fit. Eventually, I actually gave sales a try after talking to colleagues and researching to learn more. I started off with a basic thesis, and I do believe that it's a good idea to start with some structured thought process of how you can take your skills and what you're interested in and then bridge the two together. So for me, I have a knack for solving business problems and I have strong communication skills. So I thought, tech sales, let's give it a shot. Fortunately, it turned out to be a good career path for me. I didn't make that much money initially, but that's okay and to be expected. I stuck with it for years, and that's the important part, and now I have a decent amount of income. The takeaway here is that if you find a career path that aligns to your skills, interest, and money, then that to me is a recipe for success, even if it means trying and failing before you find the right fit, because to me it'll be worth it in the end. Now that we talked about mindset, normalizing money conversations, and how to make more money, now let's talk about how to save more money and grow the bottom line. In my opinion, one of the easiest ways to get off track of saving money is by not keeping your vices in check. My advice number 4 is to keep your vices and expenses in check. This advice is so crucial, and I can speak from experience on this because in my 20s I generated a respectable amount of income for myself, but I didn't save a whole lot when I reflect back on it. And that's because I overspent on experiences. A big expense category for me was traveling, both in-state and out of the country. And those trips definitely can get costly. Other experiences were like going out with friends, eating at expensive restaurants, going to bars. The point is, I cherish the experiences, but there are definitely ways that you can do it in moderation where you can also find room to save more of your income. Cool, so how do I do it? So getting into the habit of saving and tracking your spending is a great financial goal to have in any age group. Knowing your vices and making changes to them can be a game changer for your ability to increase savings. If you want more tips around saving, check out some of my other videos where I cover this topic in more detail. If you've gotten this far in the video, it's time for our final tip, which is about goal setting. Tip number 5 is set realistic goals for yourself and hold yourself accountable. The common theme in this video, as you guessed it, is accountability. It's not flashy, but it works. When I think about goals, I like to think about the segmentation of timeline, whether it's paying off debt or reaching a savings target. Start with a broader timeline in mind, like maybe an annual goal. Let's say you're looking to save 10K by the end of the year. Then break that down. How much do you need to save on a monthly basis, weekly, daily even to get there? And then start making changes to your habit so that you can give yourself the best opportunity to save on a daily, weekly, monthly basis, and eventually you'll reach your annual goals. Once you figure out the logistics, then think about based on how much you make and how much you spend, is the target goal realistic? If it is, then go for it. If not, then adjust the target. The objective is to set up attainable goals for you to achieve. I think it's a good practice to have short-term, long-term, and stretch goals, which allows for you to account for both realistic goals and more aspirational ones to track against. And that wraps up this video. If you enjoyed the content, then help me by liking and subscribing. I'm curious, what is your favorite financial tip that has helped you reach financial success? Drop it in the comment section. I'm sure people will appreciate it. Thanks for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.